Hey there guys, I'm back to another video. Today I'm here to showcase my Nintendo Switch collection. I think it's been over a year since then, so I'm here to update you guys on what I've picked up ever since then, and some of these games I've also played within my collection. But still, a majority of my collection I've yet to play. The Nintendo Switch as a console, despite the Switch 2 being out, there are still so many games being released for it, both for the Switch 1 and Switch 2 simultaneously. And if you have a Switch 2 and you didn't have a Switch 1, you now have the ability to play all of these amazing and great games. So yeah, my collection has nearly 100 games, and I didn't realize I had that many until I pulled them all out from my cabinet. So yeah, let's just get started talking about them. First up, I just want to talk about my Switch 2 collection, which is just 2 games right now. I don't have a lot for the console, literally just the console exclusives with Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza. I have reviews on the channel for both of these games, so if you want to check out my opinions on those, you can check that out on the channel. Now let's get into the Switch collection. So first up, 1-2 Switch. Obviously this was a launch game for the console, did not come included on the console despite it being feeling like it should have. As someone who did early adopt the game, because I knew that if it was going to be someone within my friend group, it was definitely going to be me to buy it. 1-2 Switch is fine. It's cool. I think if you could get it for a pretty good deal, you should definitely do that. I do have Everybody 1-2 Switch digitally on my Switch, and yeah, that game, definitely skip it. There's a reason why Nintendo kind of just shadow dropped it and didn't really promote it all that much, because it's kind of bad. Next game we got here is Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot. I've never played the originals on the Game Boy Advance, and because this is, I believe, a real-time strategy game, kind of like Fire Emblem with the top-down perspective, and you're kind of picking your units, strategizing out what you want to do. This is a game that's definitely up my alley. I just have yet to really put it into my console and really try it out, because I know that these games are decently long and I really want to dedicate a nice solid, like month or so to get through both of these games. Next game we got here is Animal Crossing New Horizons, the flagship Animal Crossing game for the Switch 1 and Switch 2 as of right now, because they now have announced that it will be a Nintendo Switch 2 edition for a $5 upgrade with better graphics, more visuals, all of that fun, pretty stuff that comes with a upgrade. And on top of that, they recently had a new update. I don't think it's out yet, but it's going to have a bunch of other stuff that should have maybe been included in the box, but anyways, as someone who got into the Animal Crossing series with New Leaf, I think New Horizons is a very good step in the right direction. It didn't really do anything amazing or fantastic. I think because I was in a different spot within my life, I have a lot more nostalgia for New Leaf, but New Horizons is still a pretty good and solid Animal Crossing game. If you have never played these series ever, this is definitely the best one to get into, because it is going to be the most accessible, the easiest way to get it. Yeah. Next game we got here is Another Code Recollection. This is a collection of a Wii and DS game, I believe. So when I saw this on the Nintendo Direct, I was like, oh, this game looks really interesting. It's a story narrative driven game, and it is a remaster, remake, whatever you want to call it, from those 2 previous titles. And I was like, well, I've never played those and I kind of want to check it out. So bought it at launch just to support it, show Nintendo that, hey, yeah, it is cool that you guys are making remakes and remasters of these smaller titles. And yeah, I've yet to play it for myself, but like I said, this is something that I definitely really want to get into one of these days. Now we got Balatro. Now you might be wondering why I bought it physically, because I bought it digitally on my PlayStation 5. So I was like, well, I kind of want it on my Switch, so I might as well get it physically. So I did that. This is the special edition, as they call it. It comes with a stack of Balatro cards, just like collector's pieces. Didn't really open them up, as you can tell, but Balatro is a goated ass game. What can I say? If you have never played Balatro, just give it a shot. Buy it on your phone, buy it on Steam, your PC, one of your consoles. It is available on anything and everything, and the game is super addicting. It is a ton of fun. The Balatro craze has obviously died down ever since it came out, but there's a reason why this game has won so many awards, so many Game of the Year awards notably, and yeah, Balatro is just amazing, fantastic. I pretty much recommended it to almost everyone that I talked to about video games last year, and they all really liked it. So yeah, Balatro, super goated. Next games we got here, I'll do these together. We got Bayonetta 2, and we also got Bayonetta Origins, Cereza, and the Lost Dragon. Apologies for my mispronunciation. But yeah, Bayonetta, really, really cool series. I was on the Bayonetta train when it came to the Wii U, and obviously they re-released it on the Nintendo Switch because it's like, well, not a lot of people bought the Wii U, so might as well re-release it on the Switch and also have it come with the full download of Bayonetta 1. I don't have Bayonetta 3 because I kind of lost touch with the Bayonetta series. I bought the sort of prequel spin-off because it was on sale at Best Buy for like a really deep discount. So I bought that, but I've yet to acquire Bayonetta 3. But yeah, these games are just fantastic beat 'em up action games. I'm not exactly sure what this one is. I think it's in a little bit of a different genre because it is a kind of spin-off one. I think you solve puzzles, as you can tell, and do some other stuff, but the mainline Bayonetta series is all about the beat 'em up action hack and slash sort of ordeal. And yeah, this game we got here is Big Brain Academy, Brain vs. Brain. I got ahead of myself. But this is a underrated Nintendo Switch game, especially for a party game. I always bring this with me whenever I go to a friend's house or my cousin's house, and we just pop this in and everyone has a great time. It's pretty much a bunch of brain teaser games, whether it's math, whether it's some other skill that you need to use your brain for. It is just a lot of fun. And, you know, Nintendo doesn't really have a lot of games multiplayer like that. You know, it's like Mario Party, Smash Brothers, you know, those typical games, but this one really does have you think about like solving problems and all of that stuff. So it can be a lot of fun depending on the crowd that you are appeasing to, and on top of that, depending on the skill level or sort of like the age of like knowledge that person is, you could also lower the difficulty. So like if you're playing with like your kids or like your nephews, you can have them play on like the super easiest difficulty, and you could play at something that's more age appropriate for you. So Big Brain Academy, Brain vs. Brain, definitely a Switch party game that you should definitely check out, especially if you have people that like sort of brain teasers, problem solving, math problems, all that stuff. This game we got here is Castle Crashers Remastered. This is a classic indie game, probably one of the first ever super duper popular indie games way back in the day. I bought this physically from Behemoth, and the reason being is because I don't have Castle Crashers physically. So I was like, well, they have a Switch sort of remastered collection, might as well buy that. It's still sealed, but Castle Crashers is a, like I said, classic indie game, beat 'em up action game. You can play with up to 4 players. It has pretty funny, you know, art style and a lot of comedic moments. I don't think I've ever played Castle Crashers front to back, but I've always played like the first couple of levels over and over again. And yeah, like I said, if you have never played this game before, definitely check it out. It's pretty much available on everything, I want to say. Yeah. This game we got here is Catherine Full Body. This is a game that I saw a lot during the PS3 era because it was doing super well from Atlas, and I was like, well, that seems like a pretty cool, interesting game. There are some, I guess, Gooner elements to it, but this is, I believe, the complete version of Catherine Full Body. It comes with pretty much everything. I believe it's mainly a puzzle game, but there are a lot of like action adventure story elements, I guess, to it. I don't really know much about it, honestly, but like I said, I heard a lot about it when it was initially out on the PlayStation 3, so I decided to get it on the Switch because it is the complete version of it, and I think it was on sale at one of the websites that I used to buy video games from a lot. Yeah. Next game we got here is Cooking Mama Cookstar. There is a very interesting story with this one. So when it came out, this was not authorized by the Cooking Mama IP holders, but the people that sort of published it and released it, I believe Planet Entertainment. They kind of just did it because they were like, screw you, whatever. And it did not meet up to the Cooking Mama IP standards. So there was a huge lawsuit about it, and this game became like this sort of super rare game for like the week, because eventually they just started selling this game through their website for like $20. And I bought this for, I want to say a little bit more than that, probably like double, maybe like 40, maybe even $60. I don't remember. I bought this on eBay because I was like, this game may never like come to light, because they pulled it off of like digital stores and everything. So there was like this huge panic buy, which I was a part of, unfortunately. But you could get this game for like pretty cheap now. It's not a good Cooking Mama game from my understanding. I literally bought it just for the collecting purposes, and I do like the Cooking Mama series, but like I said, mainly for the collecting purposes. This game we got here is Disney Illusion Island. This is a game that really caught me by surprise during one of the many Nintendo Directs. This is a 2D platformer. It looks very reminiscent of something like Rayman Origins, Rayman Legends, but with Disney characters, or should I say Mickey Mouse characters. So I really wanted to play it when it came out. I bought it launch day. Didn't really get a chance to do so because it is still sealed, but yeah, I definitely want to pop this in one day and really check it out, because like I said, I mean, platformers are like my jam, and when you have a 2D platformer that's super stylized and looks really, really dope, I definitely want to check it out. And the last game in this stack we got here is DreamWorks All-Star Kart Racing. I bought this literally because it was less than 10 bucks. But this is a DreamWorks kart racing game. It's made by Game Mill Entertainment, or published by them anyways. They don't make a lot of great games, but you know, for like a DreamWorks Mario Kart clone ripoff, I mean, for less than $10, this is gonna be a funny game to try out and check out one of these days when I go over to a friend's house or a cousin's house or whatever. So yeah, got that. Next thing we got here is Emio the Smiling Man. Remember when Nintendo was doing all of those weird cryptic horror tweets of like this guy with a bag over his face, and it's like, what is Nintendo doing? Are they making like a horror game? Kind of, sort of, not really. This is I believe a horror visual novel. So there are horror elements to it, but you are trying to solve a mystery. And this is from a long line of I think it's like Famicom stories or whatever. It's from a really old video game that they did way back in the day, and they finally made a sequel to it. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. I definitely want to check it out and try it out, because I think that this is one of the more underrated games from Nintendo's library within the past couple of years. So bought it launch day because this is one of the last Nintendo Switch original releases from Nintendo themselves, and I think they are currently switching everything to the Switch 2. So yeah. This game we got here is Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VIII Remastered. This is the PAL version because they did not release it in North America. I think now it is finally coming to North America, but I bought this just because I was like, if I want to play both of these games and they are available right onto the cartridge, it is right there. I don't think I used that code yet, so I guess the first person that wants to use it, you can. Good luck, have fun. But yeah. Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII. I've heard so many great things about this. I mean, I want to play the new Final Fantasy remake games, but I should definitely play the original first. So that's pretty much why I bought this collection. Definitely want to check out both of these one day, but like I said, RPGs are super duper long, and I want to dedicate a certain amount of time to both of those games one of these days, whenever that happens. Let's talk about the Fire Emblem games on the Nintendo Switch. Fire Emblem Three Houses and Fire Emblem Engage. I bought this around the same time I got that Bayonetta spin-off game from Best Buy, super duper deep discount. And then Fire Emblem Three Houses, I bought at launch, but I was still in college, so it was kind of weird for me to play this game because it's super duper long. It is definitely a RPG experience through and through, and I love the Fire Emblem series. I got into it with Awakening, and I tried to play some of those games after that, like Fire Emblem Fates, I believe, and I just couldn't really get into them as much as I did with Awakening. Fire Emblem Three Houses was the series' jump onto the Nintendo Switch, so I was like, yep, definitely have to go and check that out. I've never finished it. I got like a few hours in, which is like pretty much still in the beginning, but I definitely want to dive back into the Fire Emblem series one of these days. This game we got here is Game Builder Garage. I bought this because it was on clearance at Target. You might be able to see the sticker residue still there. But yeah, it was on clearance, and I was like, this is a really interesting and cool first-party Nintendo game where you could just build your own like games, I guess, within the game. Kind of interesting, kind of cool. Like I said, just for collecting purposes. Just Dance 2019. This is a purchase that my brother made because he was like, I want a Just Dance game on the Switch, and this is one that he picked out at the time. Katamari Damacy Reroll. Now, this is another interesting Nintendo Switch release because this was at first an exclusive to GameStop. So it was kind of hard to get your hands on. I think I paid a little bit extra on eBay for it because I was like, well, if it's an exclusive to GameStop, when is it going to come out to elsewhere? Which it eventually did. If you go on eBay or like other third-party websites, you can get this game for pretty cheap, for like $20, maybe even $30 at most. But I never played the Katamari Damacy series and I wanted to try it out. So yeah, I wanted to get it on the Switch. I think they even released the sequel as a re-rolled remaster as well. So I definitely want to check that out eventually whenever I finish this one. Like I said, I played like an hour or so of this and it was cool. It's pretty much what you would expect. You're just rolling around and just collecting things. Kirby has a nice slate of games on the Nintendo Switch. So first up, let's talk about Kirby Star Allies. This is the first Kirby game on the Switch. And for what it was doing, it was very ambitious. It seemed like that it was doing a lot with the friends sort of coming back, with the copy abilities combining again. That seemed really, really dope. But at the end of the day, it didn't really do much for me in terms of like the Kirby series overall. I still think the 3DS Kirby games are like the best, especially Planet Robobot. That one is like peak Kirby action. And then we got Kirby in the Forgotten Land, which is a 3D Kirby game for the first time. You're actually in a 3D plane and you're able to move around freely. It's kind of weird, kind of interesting. Haven't played and fully finished it, but from what I did play, it is a lot of fun. It's pretty much Kirby in a 3D plane, pretty much what you would expect. And yeah, and then the last one, I think the latest one that they've released, which is a remaster of Kirby Return to Dreamland, which was the start of like Kirby going in this 2.5D plane, and it has become very, very successful for Kirby. And this is probably still my favorite Kirby game ever because I think that it just does a lot of things really, really well, along with, like I said, Planet Robobot. I have not tried anything of the new deluxe features because this game is still sealed, but I bought this on a sale at Target, I believe. So yeah, Kirby has a pretty nice selection of games on the Nintendo Switch, and I think any one of them are definitely worth trying out. Next game we got here is Life is Strange Arcadia Bay Collection. So I love the Life is Strange series. If you guys don't know, it is a graphic adventure game where you are picking and choosing choices, but our main character, Max Caulfield, she's able to rewind time and pretty much change your choices on the fly, which is really, really cool. You could see both sides of a decision before you make your final decision. I thought that was really, really dope when I played it on Steam way back in the day. Maybe not way back, but you know, I played it a while ago. The reason why I bought it on the Switch is because this is the only way to get the remastered sort of Life is Strange collection on the actual cartridge. So as you can tell, it says it includes Life is Strange Remastered game card and Life is Strange Before the Storm download code. So this collection is available digitally, but I think they released it physically on the Switch, and this is the only way to get Life is Strange 1 Remastered on the actual card. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the reason why I bought it. I did try it out and replay it for a video, but yeah, they have yet to actually release the Life is Strange collection on a physical disc or cartridge or anything really. So, you know, it is what it is, but I just wanted to get it physically because I don't have Life is Strange 1 in like any format. So I was like, this is going to be a nice way to do it. And I think the game is kind of rare. It's a little uncommon on the Nintendo Switch sort of collecting sphere, but yeah. Now let's talk about the Luigi's Mansion game. So Luigi's Mansion, I remember I played the first one on the GameCube way back in the day. I used a guide to like get through it because I was still a little kid. And I was getting prepared for Luigi's Mansion 2 Dark Moon. And I was like, yes, now I finished it. Now I could play Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. Never got around to that game, actually. So when it came out on the Nintendo Switch, it was kind of perfect for me. I think Damien bought this for me for my birthday because it still has the Amazon barcode there. But yeah, I got this from Damien for Christmas, birthday, one of those things. And then I got Luigi's Mansion 3. Actually, before Damien bought the second one, because I think this one had been out for a few years at that point. Got it on sale, I think, Target, I believe. But yeah, Luigi's Mansion, I think that this is just such a cool spin-off series, you know, just to have Luigi roam around mansion, solve, you know, spooky little ghost crimes or whatever the hell is going on, whether it's in a hotel or one of the many mansions within Luigi's Mansion 2. It's just a really, really cool series. And will there be a Luigi's Mansion 4? Who knows? But definitely happy with those games. Now let's talk about another pairing, Mario and Rabbids. These games are made by Ubisoft. These are tactical RPGs, I believe, or sort of turn-based tactics RPGs. So it's kind of weird. It's like Fire Emblem or SOCOM, or XCOM, I should say, not SOCOM. And I played a little bit of the first one on like a plane flight. It's cool. It's pretty much like a baby version of that tactics RPG gameplay where you are sort of moving around Mario and Rabbids, just around the maps to defeat enemies. Mario has a gun. It's kind of weird. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I'm pretty sure Sparks of Hope, its sequel, pretty much does the same exact thing. So yeah, definitely want to dive deep into these one day, because it is just such a weird amalgamation of a series of just Mario and Rabbids in a action RPG, or maybe not action RPG, but just a RPG series in general. So yeah. Speaking of RPGs, we got Mario and Luigi Brothership. This was the first RPG that I played and finished front to back in a while, because it is Mario and Luigi. Mario and Luigi holds such a special place in my heart. I remember playing Bowser's Inside Story on the DS way back in the day, because my friend Damien and Kofi, they were like, yo, check this game out. It's fucking dope. And I was like, well, I don't know much about Mario and Luigi, but I was like, let me go and try it out. And I fell in love with that game. And I tried to pick up the other ones, you know, Superstar Saga, Partners in Time, and then the eventual sequel, Dream Team. But, you know, those didn't really hit the same as Bowser's Inside Story. And when we finally got the announcement of Brothership coming back, I was like, yes, they are finally making another Mario and Luigi RPG. I'm super duper excited. It's not made by Alpha Team, but it does have a lot of key people from that. And for what the game is, I did a whole review on my YouTube channel for it, but it's cool. It's dope. I think that there was definitely a lot of things that could have been done better. For example, the length. The game is so freaking long. I think the game could have been maybe even half the time that it takes, because a lot of what you do within the first third of it, it's kind of like meandering, like whatever kind of stuff. And then once we get into like the actual story, like towards the end, I was like, wait a second, they're kind of cooking here. So, you know, Mario and Luigi Brothership is definitely a mixed bag, but if you want a really solid Mario RPG that will take you hours upon hours to finish, this is definitely one of them. Speaking of another Mario pairing game, we got Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020. This is still the latest Mario and Sonic at the Olympics Games title. It's kind of weird. I wish that they would just continue more of these, but it seems like that they're going in a different direction with the Olympics and the Sonic partnership. So yeah, you know, these games are definitely part of a era on the Wii, and I loved the original on the Wii. I haven't really dove into any of its sequels, including this one. I bought this because it was on sale at Target or something. I did a whole video of me trying to find the Mario and Sonic games at Too Many Games, so that was a fun little vlog. But yeah, Mario and Sonic at the Olympics Games 2020. Don't really have much to say about it. Mario Golf Super Rush. This is one of the first, I believe, Mario Sports spin-offs that they released on the console. It's cool. I mean, it's pretty much what you would expect from a Mario Golf game. There are some interesting mechanics to it. I think the single-player golf adventure stuff was all right. I really wanted to get into this game, but I don't know what it is about the Mario spin-off games on here, but I just really could not get into them. And because I'm saying that, I might as well get ahead of myself and talk about Mario Tennis Aces. Kind of like the same thing. I played in the sort of online beta that they had going on for it, and it seemed really, really cool, a lot of fun. But after like a few hours or like a few days after it came out, I was just like, you know, like it's whatever. There has not been a really good Mario sort of sports game that has really caught my attention, and both of these are definitely not it for me anyways. You know, I could see why some people would like them, but there's a reason why these games aren't talked about as much as you would hope from like Mario sort of sports games, if you will. But yeah, they're okay, they're all right. A couple of other Mario games we got here is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I mean, this was the launch game for the Switch, and it is still selling decently well. even if you don't own a Switch 2, I think there are still people out there still buying Mario Kart 8 Deluxe because Mario Kart 8 is still a solid kart racing game. Comparing it to Mario Kart World, not too much here, but they're pretty good. Like, they are good kart racing games. There's no reason to really have them compete against each other. This one has the highest roster of characters with even not third party, but just outside of Mario characters like Zelda, Animal Crossing, and Splatoon. This was definitely the best Mario Kart game for a while now. I would say Mario Kart World is a little better, but I would say that they're definitely more on par with each other. But yeah, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it's Mario Kart. Mario Party Superstars. This was, for the longest time, probably the best Mario Party game on the Switch, and it probably still is. I think Mario Party Jamboree is just as good, maybe a little better, depending on who you're asking. But Mario Party Superstars, it pretty much takes all of the old Mario Party maps from the N64 and remastered them for the Nintendo Switch. This was pretty much when Nintendo was like, what are we doing with Mario Party? Why don't we just take the old stuff and just redo it again? And I think the people have been asking that for a while now, and they finally did it, and it turned out to be a really good game because obviously the old Mario Party games are super duper solid, and the maps are great, the mini games are great, pretty much everything about Mario Party Superstars is what you would want from a Mario Party game. I think this is the final Mario game for now. We got Mario vs. Donkey Kong. This is probably one of my favorite Mario spin-off titles because they're just fun little puzzle games. You're pretty much trying to guide all of these mini Marios across, and for this one, for its first game, you are controlling Mario and you are platforming around. It's a lot of fun. There's even more levels unlocked after the main adventure, but I'm glad that they did a remaster of this because I think the sort of attention for the Mario vs. Donkey Kong series was really, really, really low, but I think with this one, it really put it back on the map for a lot of people, and especially for me as a Mario versus Donkey Kong fan. So hopefully there's something new in the works for this series, and like I said, one of my favorite Mario spin-off titles. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3: The Black Order. This is the latest the latest Marvel Ultimate Alliance game. I did not grow up with the Marvel Ultimate Alliance series, but I know that there are a lot of people that really enjoy them. I'm still in the process of getting, I think it's the first game on the PlayStation 3 because that's just my platform of choice. It's super duper hard or not super duper hard, but it's a little expensive in terms of my asking price for it. So I've yet to pick it up and really try out the full series for myself. But it was kind of weird that they released this one exclusively on the Switch. So you pretty much just have a bunch of Marvel characters coming together to stop a various amounts of enemies. I think this is a action beat 'em up game. Could be wrong about that, but like I said, don't really know much about the series. Other than that, a lot of people have a lot of nostalgia for it. Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. I remember when this game first came out, it was kind of rare, a little uncommon, because people were dying to get this collection on the Nintendo Switch. Now it's like pretty common. You could get it for like $20-$30. You pretty much have every single Mega Man Legacy or every single Mega Man Battle Network game, which is my Mega Man. This is the Mega Man that I grew up with. I grew up with Red Sun. It's that game right there. I think this one is Blue Moon. But I have never played any of the other Battle Network games, so this was like a no-brainer collection for me to buy. So I definitely want to jump back in and play all of them from like start to finish, just to see like how this series evolves from game to game. Next games we got here are the Metroid games, the ones that I do have. I believe these are the only two right now. I mean, Metroid Prime 4 is on the horizon, but we got Metroid Prime Remastered and Metroid Dread. So I'll talk about Dread first, because I actually played this one a little bit. I still have yet to get into the Metroidvania genre in and of itself, so I am not familiar with like the game mechanics and just like the Metroid series in general, but this one I really wanted to give it a try, give it a shot, and I liked it. I liked what I played, just didn't really get that far into it. I think I played maybe at most like 4 to 5 hours, but Metroid Dread is a very solid game. I'm glad that Nintendo finally was like, all right, fine, we'll give you guys a 2D Metroid game on a console, and this was pretty cool to see. And then in between waiting for Metroid Prime 4, they somehow did a Metroid Prime Remastered. This is like a kind of like a remake even, because the textures and visuals are like insane from like the GameCube to this one. They really rebuilt the game from the ground up. And yeah, you know, I have the Metroid Prime trilogy on my Wii, but you know, just to like support the Metroid series and to let Nintendo know that, hey, you know, like there are people that want more Metroid stuff, I bought it. And I bought it, I think this is like the second or third printing, because the first printing like sold out everywhere, and then there was like that little bit of like panic buying from people where like, oh my god, like what if Nintendo doesn't reprint the game? But I think Nintendo were very quick to be like, hey, yes, we are reprinting more, don't panic buy, because this was only $40 when it came out, and I think people were reselling it on eBay for like double or maybe even triple the price. I don't remember exactly, but resale for it was going decently high. This game we got here is Miitopia. I think this is another game I got on clearance at a Target. But yeah, you know, I don't really know much about Miitopia. I know that this is one of the weird, like, sort of 3DS era games that they brought over for the Nintendo Switch, which, you know, I think that other one, goddamn Tomodachi Life, yes, that one. That one's going to be coming out sometime next year, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, Miitopia, literally just bought it because it was on clearance and never really tried out the series, so maybe I'll pop this in one day. Whoopsies, pop this in one day and see for myself. Mutant Mudds collection. I don't know how many games this comes with. It is 3 apparently. Mutant Mudds Super Challenge, and Mud Blocks. I think this is like a puzzle game, which is pretty cool. I actually didn't know that. Maybe I should pop it in and try it out. But yes, this is a limited run games sort of title. And yeah, I mean, Mutant Mudds, I played it on my original 3DS way back in the day, and I thought that it was like a pretty cool, like, side-scrolling 2D platformer. So yeah, just to have it all on a single collection for the Nintendo Switch is pretty cool. My Sims Cozy Bundle. I still got the Target clearance sticker, which is exactly why I bought it. My girlfriend loves The Sims, and I don't think she's played these games before because they were on the Wii. Maybe she has. I would have to ask her again. But yeah, just bought it because, you know, this is probably gonna be the most accessible way for me to play these games. I mean, I have a Wii. I could probably buy the Wii originals and play like that. But, you know, I want to see what EA sort of did to touch these up. I know, like I said, for $40 at launch, that's kind of crazy, but I bought it at 20 because I think that is a much more reasonable price for games like this. So yeah. Next game we got here is new Pokemon Snap. This game was so hyped up because people have been wanting a new Pokemon Snap game for years and years and years, even on the Wii U, because people, oh my god, the gamepad, like you could use the gamepad to like take pictures and all of that stuff. And then finally we got new Pokemon Snap, and the hype kind of came and went. I'm not exactly sure why. I played a little bit of this. I really wanted to give it a fair shot. And I mean, yeah, it's cool. You're just taking pictures of Pokemon, trying to find them within the wild or whatever, stack up points, add more Pokemon to your album journal or whatever. Yeah, you know, it's cool. It's dope. I think if you like Pokemon Snap on the N64, which was a pretty novel idea at the time, you want a sequel to it, this is it. So, new Super Lucky's Tale. This was kind of a weird game, I believe, from Microsoft. They released this exclusively on their platforms at first, and now it's on everything. And I bought this on sale at one of the video game websites that I buy from. And yeah, you know, I just want to try it out. It is a 3D platformer, and I think that this is like the most complete version of it. So yeah, want to try it out one of these days. Next thing we got here is another Mario game, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. Yeah, you know, they introduced, I believe this is the Peach item, or the sort of Super Crown with Toadette. And yeah, it also comes with Super Luigi U, so it comes with both the original and Super Luigi U, which I did not own, so this was a nice little bundle for me to get. And yeah, I mean, the new Super Mario Brothers series, it's cool, it's fine. I think that people have been hating it a lot over the past couple of years, but, you know, they're fine 2D platformers for Mario, and I think that they're pretty inoffensive. I wouldn't say that they're bad games, but they're whatever. Next game we got here is Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. This is one of the many Super Smash Bros. Clones that have come and gone. And this one was pretty cool. I mean, when you have all of these Viacom properties with like SpongeBob, Ninja Turtles, Avatar, Korra, etc., it's like, yeah, like that is like a pretty cool concept. Probably shouldn't have bought it on the Switch because, you know, we have Smash Brothers, but bought it on the Switch, tried it out for a bit. It's cool. It's pretty much what you would expect from a Smash Brothers clone. I know that they made a sequel, which is honestly a lot better just from the gameplay that I've seen. But, you know, it's Super Smash Brothers with Nickelodeon characters. Next game we got here is Nintendo World Championships NES Edition. So this comes with obviously the game and then a bunch of other cool things like a replica cartridge, a pin set, art cards, etc. And you're pretty much just doing the Nintendo World Championship Challenge with other settings and whatnot. I mean, it's cool. I pretty much bought this as a collector's item because the Nintendo World Championship original game is super duper expensive on the NES because of its collecting purposes and its value. I'm not exactly interested in that. I mean, just to have a collection that sort of emulates it is good enough in my eyes. So there's that. Next games we got here are No More Heroes 1 and No More Heroes 2 Desperate Struggle. I played a decent amount of the original on the Wii and I liked it. I just didn't really get into it because I was playing it on the Wii. So now that I have them on the Switch, I still have yet to open them and actually really try them out. But, you know, I bought these through Limited Run Games because I was like, yep, definitely want to get these physically for the Switch because I know No More Heroes 3. I have it on the PlayStation 5, actually right over here. I have it on the PlayStation 5 because, you know, if I'm going to get it, I might as well get like the best version of it. So that's what I did. But yeah, No More Heroes 1 and 2, definitely classic Wii titles that are now available on more platforms. So yeah, I believe you are following a guy named Travis Touchdown, and he is a assassin, and he just goes around fighting boss fights and just doing weird and wacky shenanigans. It is made by Suda51, I believe, so you know, there's a lot of weird and wacky things going on in here. But yeah, cool series. Definitely have to really fully check it out one of these days. Classic multiplayer game, Overcooked 2. I bought this because we were going on a trip to Super Smash Con. So I was like, let me go and get this game for like the fun multiplayer sort of shenanigans to have while we are on that trip. And yeah, I mean, Overcooked is awesome. I love Overcooked. It's probably like my favorite couch co-op multiplayer game. And the Switch version, not the best. It definitely runs a little crusty. But I think the sort of complete edition that they released a while ago, it runs a lot better, and I think when you pop this in, you can actually get it for a pretty deep discount. But I have that on the PlayStation 5 just because, like I said, this version kind of runs a little bad, but Overcooked is such a cool and fun multiplayer couch co-op experience that I think anyone should really try and check out. I think anyone could play this game, whether you are a gamer or not, because the controls are very simple and the tasks are pretty simple, even though it gets super duper hectic really fast. Next game we got here is Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, another Mario RPG making its way onto the Nintendo Switch. And this one was very anticipated because this is a classic GameCube title, now kind of remastered for the new console. And yeah, I was so hyped for this one just because it was like, now I don't have to get it on the GameCube, which was like $100-some-odd game, and now it has better visuals. It is going to run on the Nintendo Switch very smoothly. I've yet to actually pop it in and play for myself, but you know, I'm just happy to have another Mario RPG live on the Switch console. Penny's Big Breakaway. Bought this from Limited Run Games because I wanted to support Evening Star, Christian Whitehead. And yeah, Penny's Big Breakaway is a super duper dope game. I think it is definitely a lot different from other 3D platformers, but I think for what it does and what it was trying to achieve, it did that very well. It's very much about the momentum-based physics. You can just go from point A to point B, but a lot of what the charm of this game is about is you playing around with the mechanics of Penny and doing tricks with the yo-yo and going up slopes and trying to do all of this crazy and weird stuff with the mechanics and controls. So I don't know how it runs on the Nintendo Switch. I know that Evening Star have been doing a lot to sort of patch it up and make sure that it runs as best as possible. I played it on the PlayStation 5 and it ran very smoothly, but yeah, Penny's Big Breakaway, definitely check it out, especially if you like Sonic, because Christian Whitehead came from Sonic and he did Sonic Mania. So next game we got here is Persona 3 Portable. So this is a game that I actually got for free. I attended the Limited Run Games X Shopify pop-up in New York City, and they give you a goodie bag on the way out. And I was like, yep, let me go and see what's in there. They're like, is RZ okay? And the story with that game is that I played it for free on my YouTube channel. I got a free download code, and then when it went up on Limited Run Games, I was like, let me go and support the game again by getting it physically. So I bought it again on PlayStation 5 physically. Despite me having it digitally, I was like, let me just go and buy it again. And so I was like, I actually have that already. So then they went to go and dig around their other freebie games, and then he was like, how is Persona 3 portable? And the reaction that I got from my best friend and co-host on our podcast, Damien, he was like, oh my god, like he was kind of shocked, because like that is a insane game to get for free, especially with this one, because I think that it is a little sought after, because obviously Persona fans love Persona, and I don't know much about Persona, honestly. Like, I know of the series, but I've never actually dove into any of the games and really tried them out for myself. So, you know, I don't really have a huge excuse other than the games are super duper long and I don't have a lot of time like that. But, you know, I have Persona 3 Portable. I know Persona 3 Reload is amazing, and I have Persona 5 on my PlayStation 4. So, you know, I have many avenues to get into the Persona series. I just have yet to do it. Now, let's talk about probably my favorite Nintendo series. It beats Mario, it beats Zelda, Pikmin. I freaking love Pikmin. So, yeah, when it comes to Pikmin 3, I guess I will start with that. This was like my game of the year when it came out in 2013, I believe, or 2012. So when it came out with the Deluxe Edition, this is actually the last game that I bought. I got this at Retro Island Gaming a few months ago. Let me see. Yeah, I got it in, or not a few months ago, earlier this year, back all the way in February. Traded in a bunch of stuff, got it practically for free. But yeah, Pikmin is like one of my favorite series of all time. Pikmin 1 and 2, I played it on the Wii with the new play controls, and yeah, that was just a fantastic way to experience the series with the Wiimote and Nunchuck, and I loved it. Pikmin 1, I was really stressed about the sort of 30-day time limit, but it was actually not that bad. Pikmin 2, pretty much more of the same. The time limit kind of goes away because of the dungeon mechanics. You know, when you go inside of a dungeon, time just stops. You are not limited by a time limit anymore. So you could kind of just do whatever, take your time in there, and I kind of didn't like that. So, you know, now moving on to Pikmin 3, it was like, oh, like now you don't have a 30-day time limit. You just need to make sure that you have enough food to last your trip. And I was like, oh, okay, like that's pretty dope. And the characters with Alpha, Charlie, and Brittany, awesome trio. The fact that you could send them across the map, I love that mechanic. There was just so much about Pikmin 3 that I just super duper love and enjoyed. I 100%ed the game, which I honestly could not remember the last time I did that before Pikmin 3 back in the day. And then with Pikmin 4, which is the newest game within the series, it is very good. It is very good. I don't know if it is better than Pikmin 3 in my opinion. I think it's on par, maybe sometimes a little better. I love Pochi. Pochi is like the dog character, and you could really make your adventure more streamlined because you could have all of your Pikmin hop onto Pochi and you could do that. The new Ice Pikmin is pretty cool. There's even like sort of nighttime levels that you could do, which are a lot harder and sort of spooky in a sense. There's even more game modes that you could experience and whatnot. Like there's just so much to Pikmin 4, but I just really enjoy the streamlined experience of Pikmin 3, which I've yet to play on my Nintendo Switch, which maybe I should do that. But yeah, Pikmin 3, super duper dope, and just the Pikmin series as a whole. If you've never played Pikmin before, you can start out with any one of them, honestly, but obviously start from the beginning because you could see the evolution of the series for when you eventually get to 4, but any one of these games you could really dive into and really get a sense of what Pikmin is all about. So, yeah. Next game we got here is Pokemon Legends Arceus. This is the only Pokemon game that I have on my Nintendo Switch. I wanted to buy and play this before Legends Arceus came out, but I just never got around to it. I know that this is a open world Pokemon game. There's a slightly different battle system. This is pretty much a new direction for Pokemon outside of like the mainline series. And I wanted to try it out and play it before ZA came out, but like I said, have yet to even do that. I bought this at a Black Friday sale. I think it was last year actually at Retro Island Gaming. So yeah, you know, definitely want to jump back into the Pokemon series because after X and Y, I really fell out of the series as a whole because I was just like, you know, like I'm not exactly into Pokemon anymore. But, you know, I've seen what the series has been doing over the years, and I've seen what Game Freak have been trying to improve over the course of every single game. So respect to them, props to them, but, you know, just have yet to dive back into it myself. Princess Peach Showtime. This was a very interesting sort of spin-off game for the Mario series, you know, like this was the first time that Princess Peach has had a solo game ever since Super Princess Peach on the DS. So, you know, just to see them jump back into it is pretty cool, and to see Princess Peach hold so many different hats and so many different sort of skills was awesome. It is definitely a very, very baby game. There's not a lot of challenge to it, but I think for what the gameplay experience is, it's a lot of fun. I think if you have anyone that is a Princess Peach fan within your life, they will obviously love this game, and I think the overall experience of it is not that bad. Pumpkin Jack. So this is a spooky Halloween 3D platformer made by one guy, I believe. And then he went on to form his own studio and hire other people to make a Kimbot. But yeah, this was a game that kind of took everyone by storm when it initially came out, because it was like, wow, this is made by one guy, and it is a excellent 3D platformer. I haven't played it yet. I really just bought it on limited run games just for the sake of having it and owning it, but I definitely want to check it out and try it out one day. Next one we got here is Ring Fit Adventure. I used to play this a lot just to like get like a nice decent workout at home. It is actually kind of crazy how hard this game goes in terms of like breaking a sweat and actually making you work out. It's definitely not better than the gym, but it is a pretty cool way to work out at home and really get your blood pumping. And, you know, there's definitely not a lot of enemy variety, but like I said, I think the point of the game is to just have a nice, fun way to work out, and you could obviously have it dictated to how hard you could go, kind of thing. So yeah, you know, definitely a very cool and fun experimental thing that Nintendo did. Samba de Amigo Party Central. I was very surprised that Samba de Amigo was even coming back from Sega, and I was like, you know, I gotta support it. Haven't even opened it yet. I bought it at launch for like full price, and now this game goes for like dirt cheap on like pretty much everywhere. But yeah, you know, Samba de Amigo, I think this is just another rhythm game adventure. Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the Game Complete Edition. I believe this is the sort of classic edition or whatever. It comes with a bunch of cool stuff in it. Haven't opened it, as you can tell, but yeah, I bought this twice. I bought this on the Switch, and I also bought it on the PlayStation 4 because I did not want this game to get away from me again. Scott Pilgrim as a series is like one of my favorite sort of IPs around. I mean, when it comes to the comics, the anime, and now this game, you know, and now we are getting a sequel to it, which is like awesome, amazing, crazy that that's even happening. Yeah, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game is awesome. It is a great beat 'em up. If you've never played it before, check it out for yourself. Even if you know nothing about Scott Pilgrim, the game will give you a pretty decent idea of what the story is about, and I think really anyone could get into the Scott Pilgrim series. Next game we got here, we have a bunch of Sonic games actually. Let me just pull all of those out simultaneously. So we got Sonic Mania 2-in-1 Double Pack with Team Sonic Racing. We got Sonic Superstars and Sonic X Shadow Generation. So let's start from the beginning. Sonic Mania. Obviously, Sonic Mania is such a dope game. I even have Sonic Mania Plus, which comes with all of the DLC. I haven't opened it yet, but yeah, Sonic Mania, awesome game. Team Sonic Racing, haven't even tried it out yet. I got this from my cousin for one of my birthdays, so you know, haven't really had the time to pop into it and really see what the fuss is about with that one, especially considering, you know, with Sonic Racing Crossroads doing so well. And I kind of want to see what Sumo Digital's last attempt at a Sonic Racing game was. But yeah, Sonic Mania, what can I say? It's like my favorite Sonic game of all time. It is just awesome, amazing, like pretty much what you would want from a 2D Sonic game. And then we got Sonic Superstars, which was sort of Sonic Team's attempt at a 2D Sonic game, and it failed horribly. It is not good. It is honestly such a shell of what Sonic Mania was, and I was kind of really, really disappointed with how the final product turned out. They tried to add multiplayer, and the multiplayer is such a mess. It is honestly unplayable, even with just 2 people. Like, if you have more than 2, it becomes even worse. The story and sort of the gameplay mechanics, like, it's fine, but like at the end of the day, like, this is not what people want from a 2D Sonic game. I literally bought this because it was a deal of the day at Best Buy, and that's why it's still sealed, because I played it on my PlayStation 5. But yeah, bought this just because it was super duper cheap at Best Buy, and I was like, why not? Let me just go and get another copy of Sonic Superstars, just despite me not liking it so much. And then we have Sonic X Shadow Generations. And the reason why I have this on the Switch is because this is the version that came in the mail without the sort of Sonic X Shadow Generations Collector's Edition from Limited Run Games. Because Limited Run Games, they ship the games out separately, and I have yet to get the Collector's Edition portion of it. And I think a lot of people are getting a little pissed off at them, including me, in terms of waiting for, I think it's now like 2 years ever since pre-orders went up for that thing, and they have yet to get it. And it is kind of crazy. They keep delaying it over and over again, and now we have no idea what the hell's going on with it. So, you know, it is what it is with that. But for the game itself, I mean, just the Shadow Generations portion of this game is absolutely insane. It is such a good, polished Sonic game, and even though you're not playing as Sonic, just the Shadow Generations part of it, where you're going through his old levels and his old history, and the story itself is also just like really compelling and really cool. So yeah, you know, Shadow Generation, Sonic X Shadow Generation, definitely worth checking out if you haven't already. And yeah, all 3 of these Sonic games are good to varying degrees. Sonic Superstars is probably the worst one out of the bunch. We got Splatoon 2 and Splatoon 3. I have yet to really dive into Splatoon 3. I think I played a little bit of the multiplayer, but I didn't even know it had a reverse artwork, which is pretty cool. But yeah, Splatoon 2, I put so many hours into this game when it first came out, because this was the only game that I had on my Nintendo Switch at the time, and I played so much of the multiplayer. I grinded to like rank A for like every single mode. It was so much fun, and I honestly really enjoyed playing Splatoon 2, and I think the Splatoon series as a whole is pretty cool. I mean, this is Nintendo's shooting genre game, and I think they've really found their niche for it, you know, especially with Salmon Run. Salmon Run is like one of my favorite things to come out from the Splatoon series. So yeah, no matter which one you pick up, I think that they are both really, really good, high-quality games. Maybe Splatoon 3 is a little more active than Splatoon 2. I wouldn't be surprised by that, but yeah, Splatoon as a series, awesome. SpongeBob SquarePants Krusty Cook-Off. This is a mobile game that my girlfriend wanted to play on the Switch, and I was like, sure, why not? You're pretty much just pressing the buttons at the right time and just fulfilling orders within various parts of Bikini Bottom. It is a mobile game through and through. I mean, it's cool, it's fun. It does come with a poster, I guess. But yeah, you know, if you wanted to play something like that on your Nintendo Switch, I guess SpongeBob Krusty Cook-Off is that game. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. This is another game that my girlfriend got me to buy because she loves KOTOR. She loves this era of Star Wars. And, you know, I tried that out for a little bit. I could see what people really like and enjoy about it. I think I'm just not super duper into the RPG stuff of Star Wars, I guess. But yeah, I think that this is literally just a remaster of it. It's not doing anything too fancy or too crazy. It is literally just Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic on modern hardware. Now we got some Mario games here. We have a lot of Mario games actually. So let me just try to pick all them out before we get started. So yeah, let me just flash them on the spine here just so you guys know what we're dealing with, and we'll start from the bottom to the top. So first up we got Super Mario All-Stars. This was the sort of anniversary collection that they put out with the 3 mainline Mario games from each generation, from the N64, GameCube, and Wii. Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy. And now that the Mario Galaxy collection is out, this collection kind of decreases in value just a little bit, because obviously this is still the only physical way to play Mario 64 and Mario Sunshine, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, I just bought this purely for collecting purposes, and I just wanted a way to play these games on the Nintendo Switch. Don't really have strongly opinions on these games other than Mario Galaxy as like one of the best 3D platformers of all time. I'm not a huge fan of Mario Sunshine, to be honest, and Mario 64, I could see that it is a revolutionary 3D platformer, but I think for today's standards, we got to stop putting it on such a high pedestal. That's like my hot take, I guess, for the video. Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. I loved Mario 3D World on the Wii U. I think a lot of people were pretty harsh on it, but I did play the Bowser's Fury portion a decent amount. It's pretty much an open world landscape for Mario to explore. It's kind of weird. It is very much akin to something like Mario Odyssey in a sense, but yeah, Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury, it's a dope little collection that I think if you have yet to try it out, it's definitely worth checking out. Super Mario Bros. Wonder, probably the best Mario game on the Nintendo Switch and probably my favorite Mario game of recent years. It just does so many things well. Every single level is thought out and planned out. The wonder effect for every single level feels amazing to go through and experience. They're all so unique, and the controls, the aesthetics, the world, the new power-ups, everything about this game is what I would want from a new 2D Mario game, and I'm glad that they nailed it. It is such a phenomenal game, and I'm glad that they are getting more content with the Nintendo Switch 2 edition. Like I was just talking about with Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 as a collection. This is retailing for $60, which is pretty damn high, say for what you will, but I think for the collection and for what you're getting, two of the best 3D Mario games and 3D platformers in general on the Nintendo Switch. How can you go wrong, especially if you've never played Mario Galaxy 2? That is personally my favorite out of both of these. But yeah, definitely want to jump back into these one day and really fully experience Mario Galaxy all over again. Super Mario Odyssey, probably my favorite Mario game for a while now on the Nintendo Switch before Mario Wonder came out. But yeah, this is still the newest 3D Mario game, and people are wondering when is the next one gonna come out. I have no idea, but I really do enjoy what Mario Odyssey did. There was definitely maybe too many moons to collect, but I think for the platforming and the world-to-world experience, it is just so much fun, and I definitely want to jump back into it one of these days and really, really check it out again. Super Mario Party and Super Mario Party Jamboree. I will talk about these together. I hate that this is part of the goddamn box art. I just hate that it's not like a little like paper insert or even something like on the back that you can like flip over. I mean, it does have like the little sort of map, which is pretty cool. And the 3 months of Switch Online did come in handy for me personally because I was not subscribed to Switch Online. But yeah, Super Mario Party and Super Mario Party Jamboree are pretty good Mario Party games. I think Super Mario Party was a nice step in the right direction, but Mario Party Jamboree really turned it up to like another level. For one, the maps were actually really, really good. The minigames were also phenomenal. I think it does advertise that there's like 112 mini games, but for some reason when you are playing Mario Party, it doesn't go to like every single one of those. You're kind of playing like the same 20 or so, which is kind of disappointing. I think the 112 mini games sort of tagline is across every single mode because there are multiple modes to play from. The online modes are also really, really fun. I think the sort of battle royale style mode that you have online is like insane to play through. There are some crazy Mario Party players online is what I've learned. So Super Mario Party Jamboree is definitely the other Mario Party game to check out on the Nintendo Switch alongside Mario Party Superstars. Then the last Mario game that we have here within this stack is Super Mario RPG. As someone who did not grow up with the original, but just seeing this game at all, like acknowledged by Nintendo, is kind of crazy. And yeah, it's cool that they did a sick remaster remake of this game for the Nintendo Switch, another Mario RPG to add to the roster. And yeah, I've never played this game and I definitely want to try it out. I've opened it just to get the little Nintendo coins, but have not tried it out for myself yet. That's the stack of Mario games we got there. And now we are getting down the line here. So let's talk about Super Meat Boy, another sort of indie classic title from the Castle Crashers era. And it's a great 2D platformer. I honestly fell in love with this game on the Xbox 360. I've not played it since. I definitely want to jump back into it. And now that I have it on the Nintendo Switch, I definitely have to do that one of these days, right? One of these days with my endless backlog. Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble. This is the newest Monkey Ball game, I believe, and we played it when we went to Too Many Games, and this is just such a fun Monkey Ball game. I mean, you know, Monkey Ball, you're pretty much just going through courses, you're trying to not fall off the levels and just collect as many bananas as you can. It's just a lot of fun sort of platforming experience, and yeah, you know, I think for the Monkey Ball series, they've been on a slump as of late, but I think this one really put them back on the map. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. What can I say about this game that needs to be said, honestly? Like, this is just the platforming fighter game, the party game to play and try out. I mean, everyone still plays this game, whether it's competitively or casually. Like, you will see people play this game time and time again because it is just a classic. And this is probably the most complete Super Smash Bros. Game out there because everyone's here. Literally every single character from the previous games is here alongside DLC, including Sora from Kingdom Hearts, probably one of the most requested fighters for the game, and somehow Sakurai, Nintendo, and everyone involved made it happen. So yeah, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, definitely the platforming fighter, and I don't know if the next Smash Bros. Game is going to live up to this one, honestly. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge Ultimate Edition, and I originally played this game on PC/Steam, and then Limited Run Games did a limited run version of it for the Ultimate Edition, which comes with all of the DLC down here. And I was like, yeah, definitely have to go and pick that up. Hopefully there's not another version of it, because I bought the previous one, which was on the PlayStation 4, thinking that that was going to be the final version of it. So now I have the game for a third time, 2 times physically. But yeah, this is just a modern take on the beat 'em up TMNT formula. You got so many playable characters here, and it is great. It is fantastic. If you have never played a Ninja Turtles beat 'em up game before, this is definitely the most accessible one to do so, and it is a very, very good one to start off with, honestly. So Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, very, very excited to see what Tribute Games and Domanto do in the future. I know that they're working on several other beat 'em up projects, including the Marvel Cosmic Invasions game. WarioWare Get It Together. This was another game that I got to try out and play on a Smash Brothers tournament trip. I believe it was Riptide, I believe. And this was just so much fun. I decided to buy it for myself to really try it out and play it on my own. Yeah, it's just a lot of fun, little quirky little micro games that you could play. I think the WarioWare series is in a weird spot at times. You know, sometimes the games are good, sometimes they're bad. But I think that this one really nailed the spirit of the micro games and the WarioWare series as a whole. Yoshi's Crafted World. This is like one of my favorite Mario spin-off titles that doesn't directly involve with Mario. I think the Yoshi games, starting from Yoshi's Woolly World on the Wii U, have been fantastic and amazing. And then Yoshi's Crafted World, just about the same. I really do like the Crafted World aesthetic, but I think the platforming stuff, you know, going from like the foreground to the background was pretty cool, but I don't think it really did much outside of that. But with this new one that's coming out, you know, whenever that one does come out, that one looks pretty cool. But yeah, Yoshi's Crafted World is definitely a underrated Nintendo Switch game, as I would put it, when it comes to like the mainline Nintendo published platformers, because there's just so many of them on this console. But I think Yoshi's Crafted World is definitely worth checking out. Young Souls. This is a indie game that I saw that was on sale from Mario 64, and I was like, that game looks pretty cool. Saw some screenshots of it, read a little bit about it, and I was like, yep, gonna pick that up on Amazon. And yeah, don't really know much about it other than that this is a pretty cool indie game. Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days Collection. Bought this during one of Target's many sales, and this was discounted to like $20, which is like what it goes for nowadays. And it includes so many Yu-Gi-Oh! Games that have been released within the US, some that have only been released in Japan. It is insane how many games are in this collection, and as a Yu-Gi-Oh! Kid at heart, I was like, yep, have to buy that just so I can experience some of these games one of these days, because, you know, I think I've played some of them, maybe on my Game Boy, maybe I haven't, but, you know, just to see so many Yu-Gi-Oh! Games get published overseas into a single collection is pretty cool. Now, we got the last bit of games here, which is the Zelda games, and unfortunately, I don't have a lot to say about them. I'm not the hugest Zelda fan, especially when it comes to 3D Zelda. You know, I tried to give Breath of the Wild a really good shot. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, I bought it on sale for like $40, have yet even to open it. I know that Nintendo charged $70 for this one, which was a pretty ballsy move from them, but it worked out because obviously people will pay the Zelda tax, if you will. But yeah, Breath of the Wild, I really tried to get into. I just could not, for the life of myself, really get into it. And then when it comes to Zelda Link's Awakening, I'm much more of a 2D Zelda guy, but this one came out when I was still in college, so I really didn't really have a lot of time to dive into it. But from what I did play of it, I really enjoyed it. I love the sort of cutesy art style, and I really want to try the Zelda spin-off game that they released, last year or whatever. So, yeah. Zelda, I definitely have a weird relationship with this series, and I definitely want to get more into it, but maybe it's just not for me. Who knows? But I will still support it nevertheless. And yeah, that is my entire Nintendo Switch collection of, I think it's close to 100 games. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you stuck around this long, thank you so much. I appreciate you. If you guys haven't already, you can subscribe. I put new videos up on Saturdays. Follow me on social media at TV Sonic Gaming. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, pretty much everything. Also, check out my podcast called The Travis and Damien Podcast, talk about games, movies, and anime every other week. And yeah, that is all I have for today. Thank you guys for watching this video once again. And now, see you guys next time with more videos.